Hi, hope you're doing well. We live in a very exciting time in human evolution. Look at the news, look at your Facebook wall. The streets of the world are full of awakened beings. Millions and millions of people around the main cities of the world, and small towns as well, are exercising the rights of freedom, the rights to be a sovereign, living, thinking being without attachments to a government that is not working anymore for anybody. It hasn't been working since the beginning, but it doesn't take too long until everybody realizes that we're working for the wrong man, that we need to work for ourselves, and that we need to be independent from a leeching system that is only going to suck our lives. And many people are questioning themselves, what do we do now? Now we're on the streets marching for Mexico. Mexico City has been in a constant march mode in the last 2 months because the government killed 43 students. They kidnapped them, disappeared them, and didn't show it up, so might as well have disappeared like thousands of other people that are, I don't know, I think maybe 1 million people that has been disappearing in the last 10 years in Mexico out of corruption, the drug war, etc. The reason we have political instability in Mexico is nothing more than the US not wanting us to uprise. Because the moment that we wake up against our government, and if we are able to abolish our own government, then we're going to be an example for the rest of the world. So right now we're suffering pressure from a lot of the superpotencies in the world for our country to become more in crisis. So we don't have any other option but to become sovereign. A lot of people, indigenous people and campesinos that suffer from the narco war in the last 2 or 3 years became independent. They got the weapons and they clean up their towns. They clean up from corruption and from bad cops. They pretty much took the power into their own hands, and they did it really well. They did what the government, the police haven't been able to do in the last 8 or 10 years. So there's an example here of how organization in local municipalities and local communities can be very powerful and can set things straight. Because when you don't have any other option to defend your family, to defend your land, and defend your food, then that's when you realize how powerful you are. And here in Mexico, there's millions. There's probably 50 million people that live in poverty that know exactly these words that I'm speaking about. So they don't have anything to lose. And people who are in power know about these numbers, and they're very afraid. They're very afraid of the people, not only about the Mexican population, but of the millions or billions of people around the world that are becoming tired of a system that it's not sustainable anymore. So we have to start offering options, but all these people are suddenly waking up and they're like, oh, not what I do. I don't want to belong to the system anymore, but I don't want to lose my job. And that's what I step in, and many other pioneers who are starting to travel and live. Because if we don't want to live here in a house that costs money, in a car that costs money, in a school that costs money, in unsustainable system of slavery, then we start traveling and figuring out how other people and other communities are making it out in the world. Central South America, especially South America, has been so successful in the organization of communities because they have been suffering oppression more than even Mexicans, because they have the dictatorships that happens from the 50s. As soon as the Nazis flew down to Argentina, Chile, and Brazil, mayhem started happening. The same propaganda that the Nazis were using were the same thing that the governments of these countries started using. And the same control techniques and the same torture techniques, and same mayhem, and now they just like educated in the wrong way the Mexican army, and they're doing the same torture techniques that were used back then in Nazi times and Chilean dictatorships that just kidnap the students, kill all the artists, kill all the poets, all the thinking beings, and all the activists. Yeah, they were pretty much after the activists back then in the 60s and 70s, all the way up to the 80s. So we didn't want that to happen in Mexico, although it's already happening. How do we stop that? Like, social media is one really good technique to stop that. Sustainable communities, food sovereignty, and just to know really good your laws so that you know how to break them. And really educate yourselves, read a lot of books, talk to a lot of people, visit a lot of communities, travel far, travel wide. Now is the moment to do it. It's later, I don't know if those airplanes